To win out there in San Diego. Tough place to beat them.
So Poor Bear Chandler will jump center for Wichita State. John Walker III, 6'9" sophomore from Houston, one of 7 Houston-born players on this Texas Southern team, and a rare opening tap that wasn't won by Wichita State. So Poor Bear Chandler in place of Asbjorn Midtgaard in the pivot. And a lob and a lay-in. Eden Ewing, who's a preseason all-WAC, and that's something Omaha wasn't able to do all game, and that's get ahead of Wichita State.
Well, senior guard Tyreek Armstrong set that up by penetrating, drawing 2 defenders, and made the beautiful pass up to the forward.
Eden Ewing had 6 points and 8 rebounds against the Aztec. Wade, little jump hook, wouldn't go. Dexter Dennis kept it alive, but Bill Jacobson said Texas Southern is going to get the possession.
Well, we talked about the Shockers going inside, and they went inside immediately to Trey Wade, who was the big scorer in Tuesday night's game against Omaha. Got a pretty good look at the basket, but couldn't get it to fall.
Running the point, Tyreek Armstrong. He had a little good, little bad against San Diego State. He was the only double-figure scorer, but he also picked up 2 technicals in that loss the other night against San Diego State.
Yeah, it's going to be a good matchup. Armstrong, the senior, against Sherfield, the freshman.
The Shockers, 68-54 winners over Omaha, only shot at 36.6. Had an ice-cold first half, warmed up a little in the second. Poor Bear with a tap.
Another aggressive move by the Shockers. Dexter Dennis taking the ball at the basket with his left hand. He drew 2 defenders, missed the shot, but nobody was there to block off Poor Bear Chandler, who tipped it in.
Don Daly, Byron Jarrett, Bill Jacobson, the men with the whistles today. Air ball collected by John Jones, coach's son. But Wichita State comes up with a takeaway.
Yeah, looked like they were going to get a layup that time with Etienne on the back cut, but Dexter Dennis had good vision and saw the pass coming and intercepted it. You always got to see your man, and you got to see the ball. You got to know where the ball is, and that time Dexter did.
Texas Southern turned it over 20 times against San Diego State, but they returned the favor there, and a steal and layup by Bryson Etienne. Bryson Etienne for Texas Southern, no relation to Tyson Etienne for Wichita State.
Yeah, kind of a lazy pass from Sherfield out to Dexter Dennis, and Dexter Dennis was stationary. He needed to cut and get open, and that's why that pass was picked off. Sherfield's had very few turnovers, though. He's been doing a pretty good job for a freshman. I think he's got 1 turnover in the first 2 ball games.
Yeah, he had 6 assists and 1 turnover against Omaha. Wade lost it. So that's 2 turnovers for Wichita State in the early going, and that was a low percentage pass that Bryson Etienne tried to complete to Eden Ewing down low.
Yeah, he was behind the Shockers, but the pass was way long.
So 2 turnovers early on for Wichita State, 1 of 3 from the floor.
Well, they probably saw that Omaha video and saw that Omaha got up the floor before the Shocker defense did and scored some easy buckets. So Texas Southern is trying to do the same thing.
Dexter Dennis hoists the first Shocker 3. It wouldn't go. Wichita State was 35.5% from deep against Omaha. Another turnover forced by Wichita State. Another foul on the backcourt against Tyreek Armstrong. He had 10 points against San Diego State, but he's got 2 early fouls, not even 3 minutes gone by.
You know, Grant Sherfield reminds me a little bit of Fred Van Vliet, and he's got very quick hands, Shane, and I'll tell you what, he's got very active hands and very quick hands, and if you're careless with the basketball, he'll get his hands on it.
Quentin Brigham's going to have to check in already for the Tigers, junior guard from Fort Worth. Dennis from 16 went 15 and out of bounds. Kind of a sluggish start for Wichita State.
Well, I tell you, Dexter Dennis set a really good screen for Poor Bear Chandler. He was wide open under the basket, but the pass was just a little bit late. And then Poor Bear didn't take it at the basket. He brought it out away from the basket.
In case you joined us late, Jamarius Burton, Shocker guard, will not play. He's in a walking boot. But the good news is we might see Noah Fernandez, who'd been out in the pre-conference in the preseason with an injury of his own. Acrobatic prayer wasn't answered by John Walker III. Shockers hold them to 1. Dennis flies down the lane, and he will draw the foul as Eden Ewing was late in getting there.
Well, in the Omaha game, the Shockers hit a couple of three-pointers early, and it just seemed like that's all they wanted to do was shoot three-pointers. Right. And I think, as you've seen so far in the first half here tonight, that the Shockers are looking at taking the ball inside, taking the ball at the basket, and attacking the defense. And that time, Dexter Dennis in transition attacked the defense and drew the foul.
Yeah, they shot 21 three-pointers in the first 20 minutes against Omaha. And predictably, that dropped off in the second half. Greg was less than happy at 21 attempted threes, you could say.
Yeah, the problem was they started off hitting them. You know, Dexter Dennis hit his first two threes, and Trey Wade hit 3 threes in the first half, and they kind of fell in love with the three-pointer. But tonight, or this afternoon, looks like they're going at the defense, not settling for three-pointers.
Dexter Dennis had 17 and 9 rebounds. Solid performance in the first game of his sophomore year against Omaha on Tuesday night.
Both teams all man-to-man so far. Pretty aggressively, too.
A forced shot over everything by John Jones. Dennis forces and was hit on the arm. Not a bad take by Dexter Dennis as he draws the foul, and he'll be shooting free throws when we come.
It's been everything going at the basket, and I like to see this aggressive style of play out of Dexter Dennis.
8.4 a year ago. Double that on Tuesday night, and he's made 4 free throws so far.
A little full-court pressure by the Shockers, so 1-2-1-1.
Corner 3 wouldn't go. Tapped by Eden Ewing. Eden Ewing has 4.
Well, that 6'8" senior's got some quick jumper, isn't he? He gets up there above that rim for rebounds.
Dennis tries to get by Quentin Brigham, cut off. Wade. Stevenson posting up on the smaller Jones. Sherfield trying to get around Bryson Etienne. Prayer almost answered. Sherfield spins one out. Banker off the window goes for Bryson Etienne. He's got 4.
Junior out of Houston, transfer from Temple University. Made a really beautiful floater that time off the glass.
They only shot 22.6% against San Diego State. They got off to a dreadful start in the first half. It was only slightly better in the second. That 3 by Dennis is off the heel. They were 14 of 62 from the floor in their opener. So far, they're 4 out of 9.
Well, as we mentioned, they've got a lot of new players. They've got 6 D1 transfers. They lost their 4 top scorers off last year's team, so they're trying to figure it all out, as well as the Shockers are with all of their new players.
Dexter Dennis collects his first rebound. Stevenson 3 spins out. Wade clearing out on the glass. He's going to get caught for a foul. Trey Wade picks up his first. And a couple of subs in for Wichita State. Tyson Etienne, Morris Udeze, and the debut of Noah Fernandez, freshman from Massachusetts. Bob, you're high on him.
Yeah, he's a really good-looking point guard. Came out of prep school. Just a true point guard. The coaches really like him because he's a distributor. He's a floor general. He's the kind of guy that really sets up the offense and does a great job of finding the open man.
There he is guarding number 4, Bryson Etienne. Number 11 in gold, Noah Fernandez. Losing it on the drive is Jordan Andrews. He's in there for the first time for the Tigers. Also checking in, Jethro Chaisu Sampia in there for the first time. Yahuza Rosas guarding Trey Wade. Wade misfires. Shockers are now 1 for 9.
1 for 9, but they've only put up maybe 1 bad shot. There's a steal by Tyson Etienne.
Got clobbered. Hard foul by Quentin Brigham, but a hard take for Tyson Etienne. He'll get a couple of free throws. That's another thing Shockers didn't have much of in the first half against Omaha. They didn't go to the line very much with all those threes they fired up.
No, and you're not going to go to the line if you shoot a lot of threes, but tonight they're taking it to the basket. Nice steal that time by Tyson Etienne down the defensive end, and then took it up there, took the contact, and he'll get a couple of free throws now. The Shockers are shooting a very low percentage, but they're not taking a lot of bad shots, Shane. I think all of their shots have been good, except for maybe one or two have been a little rushed, but they're getting wide open looks.
Tyson Etienne hit 3 of 8 threes Tuesday for his 9 points in his Shocker debut. That's first miss from the line for Wichita State.
D'Antoni Gordon just checked in, the freshman from Mobile, Alabama, checked in for Trey Wade.
Tyson Etienne splits a pair. Shockers trail by 1.
So Greg Marshall's got 3 freshmen out there on the court with sophomore Dexter Dennis and sophomore Mo Udeze.
Jamar Reedus handling the ball, working on Noah Fernandez. So a lot of subs into the game now. Also Justin Hopkins in there for the Tigers. And a travel by Andrews. That'll be turnover number 6 for TSU.
Yeah, it took a couple little baby steps after he caught that basketball, but Don Daly, the referee, didn't slip by him. He saw it.
So here comes Noah Fernandez, 5'11" freshman from Mattapoisett, Massachusetts. Went to prestigious academy in Connecticut. True and consummate point guard, according to Greg Marshall. That one's poked away from Udeze. 15 to shoot for Wichita State.
And Noah's not at 100%. He's had a foot injury and been causing him a lot of pain when he plays, so they've been resting him. He's back, but probably playing maybe 75, 80% speed. He's just not as quick as he will when that foot gets totally healed.
Working on Reedus. Maybe I'm partially blocked. Here come the Tigers the other way. Couldn't ask for a much better start if you're a Texas Southern player or coach. They've kind of controlled the tempo and taken advantage of chilly shooting by Wichita State. Although Tigers haven't exactly helped themselves with their 6 turnovers and 5 fouls already. And that's going to be a carry on Jamar Reedus for another turnover. That's 7 now. Shockers are 0 for their last 7, 1 for 10 overall from the floor.
Well, I know Texas Southern had the Shockers' full attention at practice this week, because talking to Greg Marshall, they were fully aware that last year Texas Southern went on the road and they beat Baylor on the road, they beat University of Oregon on the road, and they beat Texas A&M on the road. So they had 3 really great wins against tough competition last season.
They will play South Dakota, Arkansas, Northern Kentucky, and Montana away from home before they play their first one at home. They played 24 true roadies last year. Etienne got the loose ball, and it's going to be a foul down on this end. That was a good hustle by Morris Udeze. He's basically triple team trying to get position for the rebound.
He's a battler on the boards, let me tell you. He's very quick jumper and very aggressive. Loves to go after the boards.
So Sherfield and Stevenson, 2 of the starters, have made their way back in for Wichita State. There's Udeze, who had a nice game in the opener, 7 points and 4 rebounds. He was the only true quote-unquote big guy to score a point. Stevenson got caught in the air, may have been partially blocked. Udeze wouldn't go.
Wow.
That was something they had a hard time doing Tuesday night, finishing around the rim.
Yeah, I don't know how he got that shot off. He was surrounded by the Tigers, but he got it up there. Didn't make it, but got that rebound and got it up there.
Shockers would be in a bad way if it wasn't for 5 out of 6 from the free throw line. This is a 3.5-minute scoring drought by Texas Southern, though, and they just can't hang on to the ball. And Andrews is bailed out a bit by a foul. So we'll go to the break in a low-scoring first half. And by Delta Dental, protect your smile with Delta Dental of Kansas. Learn more about individual and family plans at deltadentalofkansas.com. Texas Southern to inbound, leading by 1. Good little up and under move, and Yahuza Rasas has a chance for an and one, and this would be the biggest Texas Southern lead if he can knock down the free throw. And Wichita State on the other end, Bob, got a lid on the basket.
I think Mo Odessa got that foul, so that's his second foul. He's going to head out, and Asbjorn Midtgaard is going to come in to substitute. Yeah, there's a lid on the basket. Hopefully the young man that hit the half-court shot for the promotional thing during the timeout will get the lid off the basket. They are 1 out of 13 from the floor so far. The Shockers are really having trouble getting the ball in the basket.
And Sherfield airmailed Eric Stevenson. Now Dexter Dennis will check back in. Greg Marshall wants his guys to pressure a little bit more in the backcourt. Now they're going to try to pick up man-to-man and force the pace a little bit. Not a bad idea considering how things are going right now for the Shockers.
Yeah, they're going to want to try to generate some offense somehow. Sometimes you can get the turnovers and get some easy buckets that way. There's a turnover right there.
That's 8. Shockers are 0 for the last 10 from the floor, but that's also 5 turnovers in the last 4 minutes from Texas Southern to keep Wichita State close.
Trey Wade got his hand on that pass. Man.
And not by one.
Wide open looks. Trey Wade couldn't miss a shot the other night. He's having trouble tonight.
Left-handed hook, a little short. Knocked out of bounds by Sherfield. Chaisu Sumpia lost it out of bounds for Texas Southern. It'll stay here.
Asbjorn Midtgaard did a great job of protecting the basket that time. Forced up a bad shot, but nobody was there to pick up the missed shot.
Bryson Etienne was double teamed, left it short. And that one's too strong. And Midtgaard got sandwiched in collecting the rebound.
Yeah.
Etienne for TSU, I believe. Shockers are in the 1-and-1 with 11 minutes left to go.
Chiso Sumpia got the foul, and he said, "Oh, me?" He couldn't believe that he got the foul.
He was on the back of Midtgaard, and Bryson Etienne was in front of him.
I think they both might have got him. Midtgaard got kind of mugged on after he got that free throw. He's
got smacked in the eye.
Yeah, it looks like he might have got his maybe a cut the side of his eye. They're going to have to close up.
Don Daly talking it over with Greg Marshall to the left of your screen there. Todd Fagan touching up Asbjorn's right eye or eye socket.
Usually a sign you got fouled when your
blood.
face is when there's blood coming down your face.
Well, he did get the call, to the official's credit, but that was proof that he was. So we'll see if Asbjorn Midtgaard can continue in the opener. 0 for 3 from the floor, played 11 minutes, had a couple of offensive rebounds, but he gave way at the beginning to Isaiah Poorbear Chandler, who is now going to check in. So apparently this nick over the eye of Asbjorn Midtgaard is not as simple as just a Band-Aid or a little gauze. He's going to go to the locker room, and Poorbear Chandler will shoot the free throws.
Yeah, those cuts up around your eyes really bleed a lot, so they'll probably go back and get a butterfly bandage or two over that. He'll be back out. Maybe they get to the free throw line and get the lid off this basket. Shockers are having a terrible time getting a shot to fall.
So in his first start of his career, Isaiah Poorbear Chandler missed the 1-and-1. He was 19 of 28 from there last year, 68% from the stripe, misses that one. And the Shocker offensive woes continue. 7 points in over 9 minutes. The turnovers by Texas Southern is keeping Wichita State afloat. Eden Ewing went basically from coast to coast. Good challenge by Wichita State and a good closeout.
Yeah, Eric Stevenson did a great job at challenging that drive.
Chris Baldwin in there for the first time. Poorbear goes around him, drew contact, no call. Texas Southern survives another Shocker empty possession.
Well, the Shockers have missed a lot of wide open shots, but I'll tell you what, you got to give Texas Southern Tigers some credit for this start by the Shockers, because their defense has been pretty stingy. They've been playing a really tough, aggressive man-to-man defense and making it difficult for the Shockers to get open looks.
For Shocker fans, this is kind of reminiscent of a Wichita State Southern Illinois game from back in the day, huh? The early 2000s.
Yeah.
Points tough to come by.
They even got the maroon uniforms.
Yep. Jamar Reed's shot was partially blocked from the Shockers back the other way. Stevenson's floater wouldn't go. 1 for 16 now from the floor.
Yeah, Greg Marshall's just beside himself over there on the sideline thinking, what do we got to do to get a bucket?
Now they have kept guarding. Texas Southern's only shooting 31%, and they've turned it over now 9 times.
Yeah, good steal that time by Isaiah Poorbear Chandler. Get it in there.
Poorbear's putback wouldn't go, and Wade got fouled on his offensive rebound.
Greg Marshall's calling the guards over to give him a talk about what he wants done on the offensive end.
Bryson Etienne, TSU's Etienne, picks up his first foul. Trey Wade to the free throw line. Wade was 4 of 7 from there on Tuesday night. Wade's first point. The only basket made by Wichita State is Isaiah Poorbear Chandler. That's the only field goal.
Well, I think Coach Johnny Jones got his team's attention after that thrashing they got out of San Diego State Tuesday night. And his team has come out this afternoon fighting.
They're actually +2 on the boards,
yeah.
Texas Southern.
They're playing good defense, and they're really rebounding. Like you said, the only thing keeping the Shockers close is all the turnovers by Texas Southern.
They turned it over 20 times against San Diego State. They're nearly halfway there right now with 9 minutes left. Poorbear got a piece of that one, blocked Hopkins. Stevenson, a huge step through, and may have rolled his ankle, and that is the last thing that Wichita State needs is another injury in the backcourt, but he landed awkwardly, and he is in some pain grabbing his lower left leg.
Yeah, he was trying to take off in between 2 defenders, and it looked like either his foot slipped or it might have grabbed. And like you said, he rolled it a little bit. Let's see if we can watch the replay here and watch him kind of a take off. Oh, he came on that foot there. Yeah, he stepped on the foot of Chris Baldwin, and boy, that really smarts.
They're already without Jamarius Burton.
Jamarius rolled his ankle in the first half of the Omaha game on Tuesday night. Now another sophomore guard looks like he's going to have an ankle problem. Well, he's been getting banged up the last couple of weeks.
Etienne, Fernandez, those guys are going to be on high alert for the rest of the game. Dexter Dennis may have to help handle the ball, bring it up, relieve these guys a little bit because they're already down one primary ball handler. Midgard's already gone to the locker room. Now Stevenson will join him.
That was just kind of a foolish foul that time by Grant Sherfield. Reached out and just grabbed him.
Left Sherfield out of that mix. He's going to play some heavy minutes too, you'd think.
Well, it's a good thing Noah Fernandez is back off of his injury, so they're going to need all the guards that they can muster.
Justin Hopkins was fouled. He'll go to the free throw line.
Well, Texas Southern has not settled for a lot of outside shots. They have been taking it at the basket with back cuts, with drives. And I'll tell you what, they have been very aggressive on the offensive end, taking it right at the Shockers.
Hopkins buries the first. That's the first free throw make for Texas Southern. Justin Hopkins fouled out. He had 5 points in 8 minutes against San Diego State the other night.
He's a transfer from Samford University.
Eric Stevenson is back on the bench for whatever that's worth. So head trainer Todd Fagan has informed Greg Marshall he's at least back out here. 12 to shoot. Wade. Little teardrop. That's a brick all over everything. Shockers are now 1 for 20. Steal by Tyson Etienne. 10 turnovers now for the Tigers. I think all things considered, both these coaches would just soon start this thing over again.
I'll tell you what, it's pretty ragged. Well, games can be ragged here early in the season, especially when you got a lot of new players, and both coaches are dealing with a lot of new players. Oh my goodness, a layup.
Two more shots went awry. No
Tyson,
field goals in the last 11 minutes for Wichita State. There's been a rougher start from the floor in Wichita State basketball.
Run their stuff, and when you get an open shot, concentrate and knock it down.
To their credit, though, Texas Southern's not exactly letting that happen. Everything's challenged.
No, they're challenging everything.
Don Daly going to give the Shockers a timeout. He will.
They couldn't get anybody open to inbound that basketball. So Texas Southern has been
only shooting 29% themselves.
Yeah, normally that would be pretty good defense, holding your opponent to 29% and forcing 10 turnovers. Texas Southern has 10 turnovers, and a lot has to do with the Shocker defense, but the Shockers are 1 out of 22 from the field and are just struggling to get any kind of shot to go in.
So the Shockers will try it again from the corner. Sherfield with 16 to shoot for Wichita State. The only basket by Isaiah Poorbear Chandler within the first 3 shots of the game. They missed their last 19. 20 make it.
Pretty good look that time off the ball screen. Got a wide open pull-up jumper.
And Texas Southern just can't get away from Wichita State's traffic. Seems like there's 2 or 3 gold jerseys around the ball at all times when we're on this end.
Yeah, there's only been a couple of defensive breakdowns by the Shockers. And here's Ashburn Midgard back in. Looks like they got that cut patched up. He's back at the ball game. That's good news for the Shockers. No, the defense has been pretty solid. A couple of breakdowns, but not too many. But yeah, it's just the offensive end that's been the main problem.
Eden Ewing has 4. Bryson Etienne has 4. Dexter Dennis has 4. Those are your leading scorers in the game. To beat the shot clock. Oh, a shooter's bounce for Bryson Etienne. Beg your pardon,
John Jones. Yeah, he got pretty good roll that time.
Biggest lead of the game for Texas Southern.
The next bucket by the Shockers is going to get a standing ovation.
No doubt. Crowd. Fernandez cut off, kept his pivot foot down. Unbelievable.
Well, he took a couple of bounces towards his left. If he would have come back over that right shoulder, I think he could have dunked it or laid it in. He had the defender out of position.
And a whistle and a foul on Jamar Reedus' drive to the basket.
I think Fernandez is going to get that foul. Reached in.
You said this before the game even started, Bob, and I would think that would ring even more true now. It'll be interesting to see how Wichita State plays defensively, knowing they were shorthanded to start with Jamarius Burton, but now they may be without Eric Stevenson. So do they change defenses to keep TSU from getting into the lane?
Well, I think they could. I think they're doing a pretty good job of making Texas Southern put up bad shots. They just got to keep doing that without fouling. You don't want to keep fouling and getting those guys on the free throw line because it's going to get your guys in foul trouble as well. So they need to keep playing this strong defense, but without fouling. And here's Eric Stevenson back up. Looks like he's going to come back in the ballgame.
Well, that is great news that Stevenson wasn't injured any worse than he was. He either got it retaped or shook it off or both, and now he's back.
I'll tell you, he's a tough kid. I see him go down hard in practice, and he'll get back in there. Pretty durable.
Well, both teams played a lot of players in their respective games the other night, so neither coach shy about turning things over to the bench players, and Wichita State's going to have to hope not only to make a few shots, but keep the defensive pressure up and wear down Texas Southern before it's over. And if there's any question of how his ankle was feeling, Eric Stevenson just answered it right there.
Well, he said, I'm going to go to the hole, I'm going to get a bucket, or I'm going to get a foul, and it's 4 Texas Southern. Watch this. Watch 4 guys converge on him at the basket. Wow. He got smacked, but he's going to get a couple of free throws. They need to start making these free throws.
Stevenson's first point of the night. He had only 4 Missed his first 7 shots Tuesday night before he made his last 2. Rolls both in.
There we go. Shockers were 1 for 3 from the free throw line, so Stevenson makes both of those. That's a good sign. Shocker crowd is trying to help the ball club.
Midgard with a tremendous job of moving with John Walker III. Nobody could grab the loose ball, and standing on the end line was Eden Ewing. Another turnover. Shockers will get it back.
Boy, Greg Marshall's just furious over there on the sideline because they get a block, or they make Texas Southern put up a bad shot, but then they're not getting that missed shot. That's like a loose ball. You got to go after those missed shots.
Shockers are -4 on the boards. Dennis got the step. Stevenson for 3.
There we go.
It took them 13 minutes, but finally a made basket.
There's that standing O we were talking about, Shane. The Shocker fans just wait for somebody to make a shot.
And Ewing finally got a foul after all that bumping and grinding. Threw it off the window and got the and one. Midgard picks up the personal.
Well, I thought Midgard did a pretty good job of staying between Eden and the basket. Now he needs to have a guard come in from the perimeter when that big guy puts it on the floor like that. On that second, third dribble, there ought to be somebody down there digging for that basketball.
Eden Ewing named to the All-SWAC preseason team. One of the best scorers returning from a year ago from that 24-14 CIT team Johnny Jones coached.
Yeah, he's a transfer from Purdue, and he was just granted his 6th year of eligibility, so he's got 5 years of college basketball underneath his belt. So a very experienced player, 6'8", 230 pounds, but pretty quick. Tough guy for Midgard to cover.
Jethro Chaishusampia checks in for Eden Ewing. He goes out with 7 points.
There
2 in a row from Wichita State. What do you know?
Very well executed set play. Hernandez into Midgard for the easy one.
And now maybe, Bob, Wichita State can kind of settle in, because once you miss 10 or 12 in a row, everybody feels it. So now maybe that proverbial lid is off the basket.
Well, they definitely got the crowd into it right now.
They do. Deep 3 air ball. Fernandez wants to run.
I'll tell you what, there would have been
trying to run down that 3.
There would have been another ovation there if Stevenson could have found a way to get that ball in the basket. The crowd was ready to pop the roof off this place.
Tyson Etienne checks in. Greg Marshall having a visit with Eric Stevenson, the guy that missed the last 3. And Midgard, in trying to run it down, kind of raked the eyes of John Jones. Both teams in the bonus now. Shockers have been there for about 6.5 minutes. Midgard out, Poor Bear Chandler back in.
Texas Southern's just 4 of 8 from the free throw line.
Dennis crashing the boards, kind of had a look what I found offensive rebound. Fernandez to Dennis. Wade for 3. Dennis couldn't get a paw on it. John Jones collects for Texas Southern. Shockers are now 1 of 7 from 3. That's no good. Fernandez the rebound on Bryson Etienne's mess.
Well, now Texas Southern's been settling for some outside shot. That's a couple of quick threes in 2 straight possessions.
They're only 1 for 6 from there. Wade cut off.
Tell you, there almost looks like there's 6 defenders out there. This Texas Southern team is so quick. They recover.
Bad news here in the first 16-20, Bob. Shockers trail by 4 consecutive shots. Texas Southern never could get the lead bigger than 7. It's at 4 right now. And I suppose there's a couple different ways you could approach it if you're Greg Marshall at halftime, right?
Hey, you're an optimist. They're 3 for 29, so I think they're going to, there's not much you can talk about as far as a coach other than, hey, run your offense, take good shots, be unselfish with the basketball. You don't want to talk about missing shots too much. You don't want to get in the players' heads.
Sherfield to beat the clock, partially blocked, pulled down by Baldwin.
I've been impressed with Texas Southern's defense. Let me tell you that they are very, very quick, and they help and recover really, really well. The Shockers looks like they have an open shot, and then all of a sudden there's a Tiger there in their face.
Well, despite the large margin of loss, San Diego State didn't do much to write home about from the floor against them either, so not totally unexpected. Sherfield knifes in and gets a basket at the rim.
Yeah, that little guy, he does a really good job of scoring when he gets inside. It kind of reminds me of Van Vliet again. He gets in a crowd, uses his body, and gets the ball up and gets it in the basket. He's very, very strong for his size.
One-on-one move by John Walker III. That's no good. Now Texas Southern's gone about 3 minutes without scoring. Dennis left that three short. Two Shockers battle for it. A pull-up three by Andrews in transition missed everything. So they're now 1 out of 7 from deep. Shockers are 0 for 8 from there.
Well, it was a wide open look for Dexter Dennis down on the offensive end. Looked like a kind of shot that he normally knocks down, but just a little bit off today. He and Trey Wade were really hot on Tuesday night, but they're struggling tonight.
Sherfield, little teardrop, wouldn't go. And over the back called by Isaiah Poorbear Chandler, who set a high screen at the top of the key to get Sherfield loose.
Yeah, there's a fine line from being aggressive on the offensive boards and being too aggressive and fouling. So you want to be crashing, you want to go to the offensive boards, but if you're blocked off, you don't want to go over guys' back and pick up silly fouls. Here's that Sherfield make, or that's that one that just missed, and you see the Isaiah Poorbear foul on the crash. You like
free throw is good by Baldwin.
You like the fact that the young man's going to the offensive boards, but you got to be judicious about it.
Udeze and Midgard both now with 2 fouls. Poorbear has 1, so he has managed to stay out of trouble, if you want to call it that. Eric Stevenson's going to check in at the next dead ball.
2 minutes to go here in the first half. Shockers need a little run here offensively.
That was a good-looking shot by Dexter Dennis, his first basket, the Shockers' second 3. Dennis hit 5 out of 9 from distance in the opener, 1 off his career best. Good job by Midgard to wall off Etienne, and there's another turnover.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Shane. Midgard did a really nice job of walling that driver off, and he threw a wild pass over the corner, and the young man was standing on the sideline. So another turnover. That is 12 turnovers now for Texas Southern.
Now, one thing you can guarantee Greg Marshall's going to talk about at halftime is a rebound margin. Shockers are -3. The turnovers kind of make up for it, but not totally. Wade rejected on a catch and shoot.
Well,
I think that was John Walker III who got a piece of it.
He tried to shoot it without coming down because he was wide open when he caught the basketball, and he tried to shoot it while he was still in the air and missed everything.
Wade's now 0 for 6. A banked in long 2 by Bryson Etienne. He's got 6.
Yeah, he missed that so badly it went in. Not sure he was trying to bank that one.
The first 3-pointer made by the Tigers tonight.
Look out.
Stevenson tied up. Yeah, that's a good call. Don Daly noticed that Chris Baldwin had all kinds of basketball in his hand trying to wrestle it away from Eric Stevenson. It'll stay here with 62 seconds left.
Very stingy defense by the Tigers of Texas Southern, and Coach Johnny Jones has really got his guys playing on this defensive end here this afternoon.
In that game against San Diego State, Johnny Jones was not around for the end of it. He picked up 2 technicals and was ejected. There was also a player ejected in that game after 2 technicals. Stevenson, that's a tough 3 right there, and Midgard over the top picks up the foul.
Well, once again, Texas Southern doing a pretty good job of getting a hand in the shooter's face. That time, Eric Stevenson made a nice shot fake, but then the defender still bothered his shot from behind, and as you called it, Midgard got the foul coming over the back on the offensive boards. Looks like Trey Wade's wincing a little bit. He went down hard. Texas Southern's been living at the line here the last 4 or 5 minutes.
6 out of 9 from there. Respectable number. Shockers are 9 of 11. So musical pivot men continues to be the flavor of the first half. Midgard out, Poor Bear Chandler in. Haven't seen Udeze for a while since he picked up his second.
Yeah, he got that second foul, so it's been Poor Bear Chandler and Midgard rotating in and out.
Shockers trailed by as many as 7. Sherfield got bailed out. He had nowhere to go, and Baldwin picked up the foul. 2 shots for Grant Sherfield.
Pretty good
Sherfield
help.
with 2 points.
Pretty good help defense right there by the Texas Southern Tigers. But a little too much contact, so Grant Sherfield will get a chance for a couple free ones. He's had 2 good ball games for the Shockers. On Tuesday night against Omaha, 12.6 assists, hit 6 out of 11 shots in 30 minutes. In the exhibition game, 18 points, 3 assists, hit 7 out of 12 shots. So he's shooting a very high percentage here in the first 2 ball games.
Texas Southern's going to burn use it or lose it.
Run here in the last couple of minutes with a 3-pointer by get a stop and hit a 3-pointer, Shane.
No Shocker has more than 1 made field goal in the first half. Dennis and Stevenson have a 3. Actually, Stevenson's 3 was turned into a long 2. And Midgard, Poor Bear Chandler, and Sherfield all have a basket. Here comes Gordon. And he's blocked at the rim.
Wow, what a block by Bryson Etienne.
Gordon got the rebound, so the Shockers will get to steal a possession. And a reach in from behind by John Walker III.
A lot of action. Shockers got a steal. Antonio Gordon went down for what we thought was a breakaway, but here comes 6'3" senior Bryson Etienne and blocks that shot. And then a missed shot at the other end. Gordon gets the rebound, and back the other way comes Sherfield.
Good on Gordon for not feeling sorry for himself down here on the other end. He gave up 4 inches and got his shot blocked, but hustled down to get a rebound.
Yeah. I wasn't expecting that 6'3" player to block the shot. Etienne showed some ups there.
Sherfield's got 4 points. Now make it 5. He's 3 out of 4 from the stripe. Shockers within 1. It's been a long time since they led. We'll see if the Tigers can take the lead to the locker room. Bryson Etienne pitches out into the corner. And will that count? I think it was after the buzzer. It went in.
No, it counts. They're going to take a look at it.
They'll certainly take a look at it, but either way, because he has 2 fouls too.
Well, and where the Shockers are a little bit thin is that the defense clean up the rebounding a little bit, keep forcing turnovers, and start knocking down shots.
Starting 5 will start the second half for Wichita State. Armstrong is back in there with those 2 fouls. I mentioned he set a bunch. John Jones touching it now. And the starting 5 for Texas Southern looks like back in there to start the second 20 minutes. Ewing forces on Poor Bear Chandler.
Wow, that's a tough call there for Poor Bear. He looked pretty vertical. We can see it on the replay if we get one, but nice job by Eden Ewing taking it right at him. Well, I guess he was moving a little bit.
Ewing 1 out of 1 from the free throw line. Mentioned 7 points, 5 rebounds in the first half, so he's headed for a double-double.
A talented young man, a 6'8" senior out of Richmond, Texas. Played at the University of Purdue. and then transferred to Texas Southern.
Preseason all-SWAC first team, Eden Ewing.
He was just granted a 6th year of eligibility, so a young man with some college experience.
Lead expands to 3 as Texas Southern draws first blood in the second half. Boy, Texas Southern has really been active defensively. Bob has alluded to it a couple of times. Wade may have got bumped.
Big smile on John Walker in the third right there. He thought he had a pretty clean block, and he did up top. As you watch Trey Wade drive here, Walker will get the ball, but I think they called him with the body contact down below. Yeah, Johnny Jones has his team really playing some defense.
Yeah, he does.
They are down in a stance. They are really helping each other, and they're fundamentally sound. When somebody gets beat, there's a couple of players there rotating to help.
Shockers couldn't catch a break. They had an empty trip with 2 missed free throws, and Dennis couldn't grab the offensive rebound.
Yeah, Dexter was right there, but just couldn't get a grip of it.
Shockers went 12 out of 15 from the free throw line in the first half. That helped keep them afloat too. Lob underneath to Walker the third. He was fouled by Stevenson. And Texas Southern has come out the aggressor in the second half in the first 50 seconds.
Yeah, watch Ewing just kind of take it after they get out of that initial trap. He just takes it right at the basket. Nice lob pass up to John Walker, who drew the foul. This Eden's figured out. Eden Ewing's figured out he's a little bit quicker than the Shocker bigs, and he's trying to take advantage of his quickness.
It's Walker's first point of the season. He was 0 for against San Diego State. Did grab 6 rebounds, though, in 22 minutes. Left that one short. Poor Bear Chandler collects. First 3 of the second half scored by Texas Southern.
Yeah, Walker played at Texas A&M last year, so he's a transfer. He got a waiver to become eligible here without sitting out a year.
Hand checked, and that's the third foul by Tyreek Armstrong. So he got 2 quick ones in the first half, and now his third, barely a minute into the second half. Shocker's last lead was 6-4.
See how hard Armstrong's working just to...
Dennis with a 2-handed flush. See if that gets the crowd going again, Bob.
That's a pretty high percentage shot right there. Just drive right straight to the basket and flush dunk it. That was a beautiful drive and dunk by Dexter Dennis.
Ewing lost it. Dennis 1-on-3, and he'll get a trip to the line. So now that may be the tonic right there. Just put your head down, get to the basket, go to the free throw line, worst case scenario, because they're just not falling.
Yeah, this Shocker crowd of about 9 or 10,000 is just dying to have something to cheer about. And Dexter Dennis has them up on their feet again. Then a steal by Eric Stevenson at the other end. So they're back on their feet trying to urge this Shocker team on.
Dennis dumps in his 5th free throw. He becomes the first player in double figures. 10 points, 3 rebounds, a block, a steal for the sophomore from Louisiana, trying to tie the game. Does so. Shockers are even with the Tigers, and here comes the crowd.
Well, this fast start here in the second half, Shane, has this Shocker crowd electrified right now. They're trying to just will the Shockers a victory here.
Three in the corner is good for John Jones, his second. And they have stayed on the attack even after the Shockers tied it up and the crowd got into it, Bob.
Yeah, they're trying to go through the Shocker press and try to score immediately. That time it was Jones with a three-pointer.
Sherfield on the back cut. Draws the foul. That's 4 second-half fouls already for Texas Southern.
That was a really nice back cut by Grant Sherfield and a really beautiful pass by Eric Stevenson. Let's see if we have a replay here. There's the back cut, and the pass was delivered by Eric Stevenson. Looked like he might get an and one, but the ball just trickled off.
John Walker III with his third foul. Udeze is going to check in for Wichita State. He sat the majority of the first half due to foul trouble. He played 3 minutes and collected 2 quick fouls. Sherfield missed them both. Shockers fortunate to get a banker there. They missed 4 free throws here in the first 2 minutes and 10 seconds.
Yeah, I think Trey Wade kept it alive, and it ended up in Dexter Dennis's hands, who laid it in. So I missed 2 free throws, but they got it back.
And Stevenson fouls a jump shooter, Tariq Armstrong.
Yeah, Cardinal sin there. Don't foul the jump shooter. Make him knock that shot down. You want to pressure the shot, get a hand up. But that time Eric Stevenson got a little too aggressive, got him on the arm.
Stevenson bounced back from what looked like an ankle injury in the first half. Went to the locker room briefly. Free throw is up and good by Tariq Armstrong. That's his first point. Tigers continue to weather this storm as the Shockers trying to take their first lead since very early in the game. Wade, that may have been blocked, but he follows it in. Trey Wade's first basket. He's got 4, the lead down to 1. Ewing will go back to the free throw line. But Texas Southern has had an answer for everything in the second half.
Yeah, Greg Marshall's got his hands out pleading to his players, don't foul them, don't put them on the line, pressure their shot, but don't foul them. Texas Southern, give them credit. When they beat that pressure, they're taking it right at the basket, and when the Shockers help, they're making some really nice little dump-off passes to the weak side guy.
Ewing is 3 for 3 from the line. He's got 9 points. Each team now with 4 team fouls. We're not even 3 minutes in.
Yeah, flurry of fouls here to start this second half.
Texas Southern is 6 of 7 from the stripe already in this half. Stevenson tapped it to himself. Ewing will have to settle for 1. Shockers try to tie it up again. They tied it up once so far here in the half. Wade drew some contact, no foul. Will stay here.
And I tell you, Texas Southern's really jamming up the lane. They're doing a nice job of playing a weak side defense and helping their teammate. And when somebody drives, if they get by one defender, there's another defender right in his path.
4 blocks for both teams in the game. Stevenson into the lane. Now Udeze bumped. Can't finish. Got his own. Kicks it out. Stevenson and 1. Shockers have a chance to take their first lead since 6-4.
Yeah, Shocker fans appreciating that effort. Mo Udeze was working hard in there, and watched Stevenson play through the contact. Got bumped by John Jones, the junior, and stuck it in the basket. I think Don Daly's kind of warning him, hey, let's not get in the other team's face. And I don't want to call any technicals here. Don's a real experienced referee, been at this business a long time. I saw him working the Ohio State-Cincinnati game the other night on television.
The Shockers do take their first lead. What was either a lob or a teardrop shot didn't turn out for Texas Southern. The Shockers will get it back with a chance to take their biggest lead of the game.
Yeah, it almost looked like he was lobbing it up to the big guy, but it almost went in off the glass. Greg Marshall saying, move, move. He wants some motion.
Udeze posting up. Wheels in the lane and is rejected by Jisoo Sempua. Stevenson can't get a call, and out of bounds it goes. You can't complain about the officials not letting them play, that's for certain.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, really aggressive offense by Mo Udeze, but just as aggressive defense by the Texas Southern. Jisoo Sempua did a nice job of swatting that one back.
Jisoo Sempua, number 3 shot blocker in junior college a year ago. Stevenson dumps one in, and Wichita State's got a little something going here. They lead by 3.
Yeah, he's not that big. He's only 6'3", but Eric Stevenson doesn't mind going in there with the big guys. It's really deafening in here right now, ladies and gentlemen. Oh.
And the fouls just keep on coming. There's a hand check by Grant Sherfield, and we'll go to break. But Wichita State, second of 5.
Forward to that, that's always a lot of fun to go down to Cancun for that tournament. But yeah, Shockers got a lot of home games here with UT Martin and Gardner Webb, and then Oral Roberts right before they head south to Mexico.
Oral Roberts threw a scare into Oklahoma State the other night, I saw. So the summit between Omaha and ORU in the early going.
Texas Southern putting a scare into the Shocker Nation here today.
Jisoo Sempua couldn't grab it. Violation. It'll go to Wichita State. You get a 6'10" guy a pass down around the shins, and the result's probably not going to be good.
Yeah, unselfish, but maybe a little bit overpassing that time. Shockers been playing good defense the whole ball game. That time, really good rotation, helping on the drive and sealing off the passing lanes. And Shockers have done a good job of forcing turnovers. Texas Southern has 14 turnovers. The Shockers only have 3 turnovers, so they've been forcing turnovers and taking care of the ball on their end.
The Shockers this half, 5 of 10 from the floor. They hit 5 baskets all of the first half. They were 5 of 37, now they're 5 of 10. Sherfield, little fall away, did everything but go in, and Trey Wade couldn't poke it away from Tyreek Armstrong.
Well, when you have penetration like that, Shane, and a couple of defenders have to go help on the driver, then somebody ought to be able to get to the offensive board, and that's what Greg Marshall's been pleading to the guys to go to the boards and try to tip in some of these misses. But to Texas Southern's credit, they did a nice job of rotating and getting the Shockers blocked off.
Wichita State has out-rebounded Texas Southern in this half 9-1. No big surprise there. I'm sure that stat got Greg Marshall's attention at the break.
Yeah, he's not used to getting out-rebounded. That's one of the tenets of the Shockers. Good defensive rebound. Oh, man, what a tough shot at the end of the shot clock by Armstrong.
Armstrong's first bucket, and that's the third 3 for Texas Southern, and the Tigers knotted up at 36.
Yeah, he's their senior leader. He's their coach on the floor, Armstrong.
Stevenson had it partially blocked. Jisoo Sempua, shot blocker out of the Congo. That's the 5th in the night for the Tigers. And he'll go to the free throw line. Jethro Jisoo Sempua will shoot 2. Did not play against San Diego State. Now Udeze picks up his 3rd. Shockers 6th of the half.
Mo Udeze kind of shaking his head, wondering, what do I got to do here? He thought he played pretty good defense, had his arms straight up and bodied the offensive guy, but he picked up the foul. Now he's going to go take a seat with his 3rd foul, and Asborn Midgard comes in with 3 fouls already, so Shockers are starting to get into a little bit of foul trouble inside.
And the fact that they don't have Jamie Echenike for this game may show up sooner rather than later. Noah Fernandez back in there running the point. Empty trip from the free throw line for TSU. Keeps the game tied.
It's a very quick defensive team here, Texas Southern. Johnny Jones really has them playing some defense.
Another blocked shot. 7 to shoot. Shockers. Dexter Dennis is basically resigned to just try to take it one-on-one and draw some contact.
Johnny Jones knows a little bit about winning. He was a guard on that LSU team that beat the Shockers in 1981 down in New Orleans and took the team to the Final Four with Rudy Macklin.
Wade got Chisu Sampia in the air. He'll go to the free throw line for 2.
There we go.
6 fouls for Texas Southern in the second. Yeah, Jones pretty much lived out his dream. He played for LSU, was a longtime assistant coach, and spent some time at Memphis and then Alabama. He was the head coach from 12 to 17 at LSU, Johnny Jones was.
Yeah, after he played there, he was a coach under Dale Brown and took LSU to another Final Four.
Yep. Boy, that was an improbable run, wasn't it? The team that he took.
Yeah, I tell you, he had all kinds of problems that year, but ended up getting to the Final Four. But yeah, he's been in a lot of winning programs. Shocker played him. Greg Marshall was coaching when they played LSU down in the Battle for Atlantis.
Yeah.
He was the head coach of LSU when the Shockers beat them down there.
John Jones, back in the day, had a hand in recruiting the then Chris Jackson, who became Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf, and Shaquille O'Neal. Convinced them to go to LSU back in the day.
Pretty good LSU team.
Andrews was robbed a 3 at the end of the first half when he didn't get it off in time. And an offensive putback off the miss. Ewing cleans it up.
That's something that'll just drive Greg Marshall crazy, giving an offensive rebound and letting him put it back in.
Eden Ewing's 4th basket.
Now they're going to get Midgard on a blocking foul, so that's going to be his 4th foul, I believe, Shane.
So now that's 7.
They're going to get Poor Bear Chandler back in there.
7 on the team. Midgard will be out for quite a while. D'Anthony Gordon checks in.
That's one of those points of emphasis this year. If you do the pick and roll, you've got to be looking for a pass to roll and screen off the player, the defensive player. And that time Midgard was just kind of rolling and screening the player, but not looking for a pass.
Bryson Etienne harried by Dexter Dennis. Very good on-ball defender for Wichita State, maybe the best. Gordon tried to hedge, keeping his dribble. Etienne rejected by Dennis. Guess he heard me.
Shocker fans love that. Dexter Dennis, he was the Shockers' defensive stopper last year, and he was the guy that they'd put on somebody. Look at this beautiful defensive play by Dexter Dennis, swatting that one away. Yeah, he always had to guard the toughest guard or small forward on the other team last season. He's very active, very quick, long, and a good leaper. No, that's going to be a goaltend.
They're going to wave it off. Yep. A runner by Tyreek Armstrong looked like it was going to go down anyway.
I thought it was a Shocker player that tipped it, but it was a Texas Southern player.
Don Daly explaining to John Jones exactly what happened.
Yeah, you can't touch the ball when it's in the cylinder above the basket. That's basket interference.
Or the net or the rim or anything else, I guess, for that matter, right?
Correct.
Tied at 38 this late in the game. Who would have thought?
Shockers got a really young club out here right now. 2 sophomores and 3 freshmen.
Dennis forced a pass to Poor Bear Chandler. Only the 2nd turnover of the half for Wichita State, only the 5th of the game. Armstrong tried to take the youngster Fernandez to school. D'Anthony Gordon called for the block. Little late sliding over.
It looked like he was there in plenty of time, but I think he might have been in that restrictive arc, Shane. Maybe we'll see a replay. The difference right now are the 2 3-pointers. Here's a replay on that drive. You'll see Antonio Gordon going over, but not quite out of that restrictive arc. If you're coming over, you're a secondary defender. You have to be outside that arc to draw that charge. He was just a step late.
Hopkins completes the 3-point play. Justin Hopkins, transfer from Samford, has 4 points. And Texas Southern goes back up 3. The biggest lead of this half for Wichita State has been 3, and that was predictable. Tyson Etienne collides with Tyreek Armstrong.
Kind of put a shoulder into him, and that's another turnover. We talked about the Shockers only having 3 turnovers, but there's 2 blocking fouls in the last 2 to 3 trips down the floor. One on Midgard and one on Tyson Etienne, and those are turnovers right there.
3 turnovers in the last 146 for Wichita State, and after they took that 3-point lead, they are without a basket for the last 4:14. Stop me if you've heard that somewhere before. Left-handed hook shot at brick by Tyreek Armstrong. See if the Shockers can snap that skid. Back cut by Stevenson. He was covered up by Andrews. Dennis off a couple of picks. Forbear didn't want the 3. Stevenson from deep.
Well, that's been the difference. The Shockers haven't hit a 3 here in the second half, and Texas Southern has 2 out of 3 from 3-point, but there's one by Eric Stevenson that's going to pull the Shockers within a tie, 41-41.
Only the second 3-pointer in the game for Wichita State. They're 2 out of 12. And the seas parted for Tyreek Armstrong. Lofts it off the glass for 2. Every time Wichita State has even had a little bit of a run, Texas Southern has answered it.
Yeah, Armstrong just blew right by Grant Sherfield that time, and there was no Shocker help at the basket.
Gordon from 17 wouldn't go. So the Tigers with a 2-point lead and the ball back after the Shockers tied it up with a Stevenson 3. Ewing gets around Gordon, blocked by Poor Bear Chandler.
Yeah, good help that time. Good rotation. Nice weak side help by Poor Bear Chandler.
Midway through the second half, Stevenson didn't want the 3. A little teardrop goes in. Eric Stevenson, as consistent an offensive player as the Shockers have had today.
Yeah, that shot's got this Shocker crowd up again as the Shockers tie it up 43-43. They're trying to urge the Shockers on.
Stevenson has 14 points. Ewing banks it in. Gordon fouls him, and another 3-point opportunity for Eden Ewing.
Yeah, that was a really nifty little pass by Chiso Sapia. He kind of just flipped it over his shoulder, and Antonio Gordon was not ready for that pass. He went right by the defender and slipped it to his teammate for the easy bucket. And there's going to be a free throw by Eden Ewing as well.
Poor Bear Chandler is replaced by Morris Udeze, who has 3 fouls. Midgard has 4.
Well, this Texas Southern team plays a lot of tough competition on the road. We talked about their wins last year, beating Baylor, Oregon, and Texas A&M. And this year, they've already played San Diego State. That's got this game together. They're also playing at Arkansas, at Gonzaga, Nevada, Oregon, Arizona State, and Texas A&M. So they've got a tough road schedule.
Stevenson got loose. Wouldn't go. Udeze, the putback. Udeze finally finishes around the rim, and that was a big shot for Wichita State.
That's what Greg Marshall's been wanting to see. He's wanted to see some guys crash the board and try to stick back some of these misses in. Wow.
Rainbow 3 by John Jones.
Another tough shot at the end of the shot clock. Stevenson was right in his face.
And that can't disappoint you if you're Wichita State. You want them shooting shots like that.
Yeah, Jones is only 6 feet tall. He's listed as 6 feet tall. He looks a little shorter than that, actually.
Jones was 1 of 6 from 3 against San Diego State. He's got 3 threes today. Stevenson on the reverse. May have lost it going up.
Yeah, looking for a foul, but didn't get it. There's a carry, but he got away with it.
Angle 3 was an air ball. Hopkins tried to buy a call. Shockers will take it. Chris Baldwin with about a 24-footer.
Yeah, Eden wanted to call that
And
time. He thought his
Dennis and
teammate
Hopkins are woofing.
got pushed, but the referee was right there, Byron Jarrett, and he said the young man just slipped.
Hopkins and Dexter Dennis had some words and some gyrations for one another. There's a hold on John Jones. And we have made our way to the under 8 timeout. Texas Southern still hanging tough, lead the Shockers by 3. Okay, back here at Charles Koch Arena, and this one figures to go right down to the wire. If the Shockers haven't shaken Texas Southern yet, you would imagine their confidence is plenty good to go the last 7:55.
Yeah, they've got a very experienced club, 6 D1 transfers, a lot of older guys, and the Shockers have a lot of freshmen and sophomore over here, but both teams shooting better here in the second half. Shockers shooting 42% and Texas Southern shooting 47%. They've gotten to the line a couple more times, but the Shockers are starting to hit the boards. They're +9 on second chance points, so they're starting to get some offensive rebounds and sticking them back in.
They're now 19 of 26 from the free throw line, and that has really saved them today too. Texas Southern taking much better care of the ball in the second half, and a 3 in transition by John Jones was his 4th, and I guess that's not really transition. That was 2 free throw makes, and he just threw in a bomb.
Yeah, they've done a pretty good job of going through the press and scoring at the end of the press.
They called that a long 2 by John Jones. Wade wouldn't go. He just hung on the rim and wouldn't go. That's the kind of the story of the day for Wichita State. They're shooting 22.8% for the game.
Well, they got it down low to Trey Wade, but the defense was pretty stout as Texas Southern was bodying up Trey Wade, making him take a difficult shot.
Reverse wouldn't go. Near travel by Rosas, and then he stepped out of bounds. Wichita State's having a hard time getting back defensively, make or miss.
Yeah, that time Mo Udeze kind of helped off his man a little too early and gave up a pretty direct pass to the basket, but the Shockers dodged a bullet there. He missed the shot and then stepped out of bounds.
Stevenson leading all players with 16. And make it 18. Eric Stevenson's taken over the second half.
Yeah, they thought he was going to come off that screen, and instead he refused the screen, went down the baseline. Beautiful reverse layup by Eric Stevenson.
And there was a time where we wondered if we'd see Eric Stevenson again in the first half. He left due to an apparent ankle injury.
Yeah, he rolled that ankle, but fortunately it wasn't serious.
Wild shot wouldn't go. Udeze got the rebound. Sherfield. Heat check from Stevenson. It's short. Did a good job of staying in front of John Jones. Jones and Tyreek Armstrong have just been bound and determined to break down the Shocker defense. From 28. Armstrong misfired. Shockers with a chance to take the lead again. Wade turned down the 3. Udeze wouldn't go, but he was fouled. Nice move by Mo Udeze.
Yeah, strong move that time. Went right at Chiosopia and took it right at his chest and drew the foul. Here's a replay here as Mo Udeze goes up hard. Chiosopia tries to block it,
That was his
but
4th.
fouls, and will put Mo on the free throw line.
Udeze has 2 points and 5 rebounds.
Mo wasn't the best free throw shooter in the world last year, just 39%. But he gets that one to go.
Made his only free throw Tuesday night against Omaha, so he's started his 2019 2 for 2. This will be interesting see what Texas Southern does offensively the last 6 minutes. A lot of one-on-one, a lot of pull-up threes. It's been working so far, but will the well run dry?
I think when Mo was out last year, he's working on his free throw shooting a little bit.
Guess so.
Shocker Nation making some noise here at the roundhouse. There's a turnover.
4-on-1, Sherfield fell down.
Oh,
Shockers had a 4-on-1, and Udeze looks like he's more frustrated than anything. I was going to say it looked like he hurt himself trying to swat away that layup, but Shockers had a sure 2 down on the other end, and now 2 for Texas Southern on this end.
You know, Greg Marshall over there looks like he's going to get a migraine because every time it looks like they're going to turn the corner, then something bad happens. Sherfield, they got the steal, and then it looked like he tried to cut a little bit too hard, got on the side of his shoe and slipped and fell down.
Raza spins it out. Poor Bear Chandler back in. Texas Southern falls to 58.3% from the stripe. That's kind of been a bugaboo for them. In this half, they're 7 for 13.
I get the feeling that if the Shockers can make a couple of consecutive baskets and get a little bit of a lead here, they can because Texas Southern has been forcing some quick shots. They can possibly break this game open if they make a couple of buckets.
Even with 5.5 to go in the second game of the season for both. Dennis, nice soft touch by Dex.
Looked like he was going to take the three-pointer, but turned it down, then drove to the basket, made a nice floater. There's a nice drive right by Eric Stevenson. That's Justin Hopkins, a 6'5" junior. He's another transfer from Samford University.
Wade for 3, short. Poor Bear the rebound. He didn't see Stevenson behind him. Wade underneath, corner 3 for Dex.
Nice offensive rebound by Poor Bear Chandler to keep that possession alive, and they found Dexter Dennis wide open in the corner for the 3. There's a quick shot by Texas Southern.
Sherfield will go to the free throw line.
Yeah, he's strong for his size, isn't he? He's not a real big guy, but he doesn't mind going in there and bumping with the bigs. Watch Sherfield go in here, puts a body on Chia Sapia. Or I'm sorry, that's Razas, the 6'7" junior from St. Louis, and Sherfield goes to the line.
Sherfield has 6 points. Shockers have their biggest lead of the game. John Walker III comes in for Texas Southern.
Now, as I mentioned, Texas Southern's been coming down and taking some quick shots, some long shots. Let's see if they do it again this time. Shockers need to get down, stop penetration. Nothing going to the basket.
Boy, a forced shot went in for John Walker III.
Yeah, he just kind of prayed that one in. That was on the front of the rim for a couple of seconds. Sherfield draws another foul.
Eden Ewing. Both teams in the double bonus now from here on.
These free throws give the crowd a chance to rest a little bit. They've been making some noise, Shane.
Sherfield back to the line again. Grant Sherfield, 6 for 9 from the stripe. Seven for 10.
Now 4 minutes to go. Shockers up by 5. And this Shocker crowd is urging them on. They want to see some defense.
Dennis is going to get Tyreek Armstrong. Got the stop. Oh my. They're going to get Trey Wade for pushing off. That does not count.
Yeah, Byron Jarrett caught Trey Wade pushing off before he got that offensive rebound. And
half in which they trailed 24-23. But offensively in the second half, Dexter Dennis and Eric Stevenson have heated up. And they've needed it too, because Tyreek Armstrong, who barely played in the first half, John Jones and Eden Ewing leading the way for Texas Southern, and Ewing will shoot free throws.
Well, get ready. He was only a 54% free throw shooter last season, so this could come off.
He's 5 out of 7 today, so slightly better.
He's a good player.
He's got 14 points and 6 rebounds.
He had 7 double-doubles last season. Boy, those 2 free throws look pretty good.
Pretty pure. Back to a 1-possession lead.
Got the senior against the freshman here. Grant Sherfield against the senior Armstrong.
Sherfield bumped by Eden Ewing. And when you're in your sets with your Wichita State here in the next 3:33, you got to make sure all those screens that you set out for the ball are the ones that are stationary and not the moving screens.
Correct. Yeah, they got a couple of offensive fouls, turnovers early in the half on that particular play. So you're right, Shane. Don't want to turn the basketball over in a tight ball game like this.
Sherfield 7 for 10 from the free throw line. Boy, he's being forced to grow up quick. Jamarius Burton not available in this game. Tyson Etienne hasn't gotten a lot of minutes. It's been Sherfield and Stevenson for the most part in the backcourt. He's 9 for 12 from the free throw line.
Little 2-2-1 zone press this time by the Shockers.
Ewing just ran over Poor Bear.
Charge. Don Daly made a pretty strong call there.
Poor Bear saw it coming too, didn't he?
Yeah, he sure did. He showed some courage standing in there and taking that one. The Shocker fans appreciate that.
So Ewing has to go out. That's his 4th turnover.
That's a big call there. That's an important guy for them to have in the ball game at this point with 3 minutes to go in a 5-point game.
So you wouldn't think he'd be out too long. He's only got 3 fouls. We'll see. Texas Southern now down 5. So unless they get a stop, they might want to start thinking about 3-pointers.
Shockers running a lot of offense, but Texas Southern is not giving them anything open.
Stevenson misfired on the 3, so the Tigers got the stop they were looking for. And another offensive foul. Stevenson takes this one. So 1 dribble too many for Justin Hopkins because he dumped that off to a teammate.
I'll tell you, if Stevenson doesn't take that charge, they're ducking that ball through
Absolutely.
the basket because watch his pass off. He drops it off, and young man's going to take it up there, although Sherfield went over to help as well. But a nice defensive play by Eric Stevenson drawing that charge there. Shockers need to execute, get a bucket here.
79% from the free throw line, only 7 turnovers to 20 for Texas Southern. Those are some of the big numbers. As Wichita State, 2.5 minutes away from going 2-0. And I don't need to tell you what that call was.
Yeah.
Extend your arm and you're 6'10", you're not going to get away with it. So Poor Bear Chandler picks up his 4th.
Yeah, but they were working hard to try to get the ball inside. They got it inside to Poor Bear Chandler, but John Walker did a nice job of anticipating of when Poor Bear Chandler was going to lower his shoulder, and he drew the charge.
Armstrong working on Dennis. They set 2 screens for him. Over and around Poor Bear Chandler. What a shot by Tyreek Armstrong.
Yeah, it was good help by Poor Bear Chandler there, but Armstrong went up over the top of him and made the shot, even through a lot of contact by the bigger and taller Poor Bear Chandler.
These Tiger guards have no conscience.
They're trying to get the ball down low to Trey Wade, but Walker's doing a nice job of keeping the ball away from him.
Shockers in the second half shooting 41%. Texas Southern shooting 48% from the floor.
Much better than the first half. That's
more
sure.
free-flowing by a long ways.
Just 15 on the shot clock as the Shockers inbound from the side.
Sherfield, a contested 16-footer. Dennis keeps the possession. Shot clock resets to 20. Dexter Dennis, 7th rebound. Sherfield couldn't finish.
My goodness,
Used
what a drive.
every bit of the shot clock and every bit of the rim, and it wouldn't go down.
The crowd was just hanging on that shot as the shot was hanging on the rim.
Rosas got some space from Poor Bear Chandler, but Isaiah played without fouling. Big stop.
Pretty good defense on both ends by
Really
both
was.
clubs.
See what the Shockers dial up here. They call a timeout before they do anything.
Neither club's getting very many easy shots. Both teams are real master of coming out of timeouts with a good set play. They've got 17 seconds on the shot clock. Look for them to try to go inside to Trey Wade with some kind of a cross screen, maybe a guard big screen or some kind of a screen for an open shot for Dexter Dennis.
Dennis to inbound. Is Sherfield, Poor Bear Chandler, Wade, and Stevenson on the floor for Wichita State. 10 to shoot. Dennis short, but he was fouled, and boy, Chisu Sampia at 6'10" came flying over to help too.
They ran a clear out play for Dexter Dennis. They got him the ball up at the free throw line. Then Poor Bear Chandler got out of there and just cleared it out. And they gave Dexter Dennis a whole side to drive on, and he drew the foul.
And Chisu Sampia has fouled out. Boy, he's a load down there at 6'10", but he just came down with his hand just enough.
He's done a good job of altering and changing shots as well as blocking shots today. Young man had a good game, good defensive effort.
Dexter Dennis is 6 of 6 from the foul line tonight. He's got 18 points and 7 rebounds. He's played virtually the entire game.
A couple of big free throws here for Dexter Dennis.
He's got to make this one to make it a 2-possession game. This will be the 36th free throw shot by Wichita State tonight.
Well, look for Texas Southern to push it up and try to get a quick one.
Dennis splits a pair. He's now 7 of 8. Eden Ewing back in the game. He's handling it in the backcourt. Shockers trying to make it difficult to cross the timeline.
No foul, don't foul. Looks like they're going to drop back into a zone. There's a long shot, my goodness.
An absolute bomb by John Jones. And a foul by Tyreek Armstrong.
Yeah, the Shockers jumped into a zone that time, Shane Dennis. The first time they've showed zone all season. And Texas Southern just launched a long one right in front of us. Must have been a 35-footer.
So Sherfield to the line, where he's 9 of 12.
Looks pretty cool for a freshman, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. He's had 2 really solid games to open his freshman season. Got 12 points.
Well, teams can score a lot of points in 23 seconds, so the Shockers are going to have to get back, match up, and take away those open three-pointers.
Well, they got 2 makes, so that'll help them set up whatever defense they want. Sherfield's made 11 free throws here today.
They're going back to this 2-2-1 zone press to try to slow them down a little bit.
Armstrong dumps it off to Ewing. Well, the good news is Shockers didn't foul. There's a timeout, and Ewing ends up with a reverse.
That was a good drive and dish that time by Armstrong. Driving in there, sucking a bunch of defenders to him, and then dropping it off to his teammate for the easy one.
Eden Ewing with 18 points.
As you mentioned, the Shockers didn't want to foul to give him a 3-point play, so that shot was pretty a Shocker Southern Illinois games or Shocker UNI games. Both teams just really stingy on defense. I thought it was going to be a run and gun game, but not so. All right, Eric Stevenson's going to take it out. Let's see what Greg Marshall has planned. Going to get the ball to a good free throw shooter, probably Grant Sherfield.
Wade sprints up, as a decoy mainly.
They
got it to Sherfield, and a rainbow of a pass that Sherfield might not want to duplicate again his freshman season.
Well, they ran Dexter Dennis long, but Texas Southern was ready for it and had a defender back there. And so they were looking long first, and then they got the ball into Sherfield. Since he just made 2 free throws, he probably should have just held on to it. Stevenson's having himself a pretty good ball game tonight.
Yes, he is. Get 2 more free throws to try to salt this one away.
He got about 19 points.
Yes.
And he's been all over the court.
He and Dennis have carried the load offensively, and this looked for a long time like this was going to be an absolute struggle for Wichita State to win, and generally it was. And a scooping layup by Tyreek Armstrong.
So Tyreek Armstrong's not quitting yet. Well, yeah, it was about as bad as it could be offensively in the first half, but they battled through it by playing defense, by rebounding, and let's see if they can close this thing out. They got to get the ball in bounds here.
Come to the ball, be strong with the ball, let them foul you. And if you're Texas Southern, you got to overplay every passing lane and give up the long one if you have to. Stevenson gets free, and they are going to foul with 2.5. So barring a total meltdown, Wichita State's going to survive this. I'll be interested to get Greg Marshall's thoughts after this one's over. How you explain a first half like that?
Oh, I don't know if you can.
You're right.
I think
you might not be able to.
You chalk it up to having 10 of your 13 players are freshmen and sophomores. Mm-hmm. And you never quite know what those young guys are going to do night in, night out.
Stevenson to the line for 2 more. Free throws have been a big reason why Wichita State's going to win this game. First half turnovers by Texas Southern, another reason.
Forcing turnovers and not turning the ball over themselves. The Shockers have under 10 turnovers in the ball game.
A heave at the buzzer, and that's it. So Wichita State survives a